Hi and welcome to Beatle Dave's Beatles channel. Today's video is the Beatles UK album series update, so come and join me. So hello and a very warm welcome today to Beatle Dave's Beatles channel. Hope I find all you fantastic Beatles people doing really well out there, and thank you so much for joining me again today. So the subject for today's showing is an update video for the Beatles UK original album series that I've been doing, and since I actually started this series late last year, I've managed to find some more fantastic UK original variants, some of which are incredibly rare albums which I'm going to show you Beatle people. Obviously, once again in this series, as previously mentioned, I will only be showing original pressings from March 1963 to May 1970. And now, because there's quite a few of these fabulous LPs to show you guys, there's no Ask Beatle Day this week or I Call Your Name, but that will return on the next video. So right then, let's cut to the chase, and we should get straight into showing some of these fabulous UK original Beatles 1960s albums. So please, come and join me. Okay, so I'm going to show these in chronological order of albums, starting with Please Please Me and finishing today with Sgt. Pepper. So with each particular LP, as always, I'm going to show them with the mono editions first, then the stereo edition straight after, if there's one to show. So starting with the album Please Please Me, this is the 7th pressing, and this was released approximately July to November 1969. It's on the black and yellow Parlophone label, catalogue number PMC 1202. So starting with the cover then, it's a really lovely laminate on this cover. It's got no thumbnails, it's a really great cover, nice condition. You've got the Parlophone logo at the top there with Please Please Me, the Beatles. And on the top right then, we've got the mono indicator, which is quite small. And then you've got the Beatles there in yellow with the guys on that balcony at 20 Manchester Square in London. And then we've got Please Please Me with Love Me Do and 12 other songs. And the credit there for photo, Angus MacBean there. So I'm going to flip that over then. And there, of course, we've got the Please Please Me again with the Beatles. We've got all the track listings down the left-hand side with the instruments played by the guys. And on the top right, we've got the catalogue number. Got the notes there by Tony Barrow, and bottom left we've got recording first published 1963 with the trademark long play 33 1/3 there, EMI Records Limited, Hayes, Middlesex, England, and the Emitex details. And of course this cover is printed and made by Garrett and Lofthouse with the mono and stereo numbers bottom right there. So we'll just take a look at that spine then. So we've got the sepia tone inner sleeve with this particular issue there, showing all the albums that you could have got at the time. Obviously you've got Sgt. Pepper there amongst all the albums. So on to the fabulous vinyl then. So this one's from late 1969. It's in absolutely beautiful condition. A really rare one, this particular one, obviously in mono from the late 60s. You've got no sold in UK details there, as you can see where the Parlophone logo is. But on the left hand side there, you've got the Gramophone Company on the rim, on the perimeter there, with the P 1963 and side 1. And then on the right there, we've got the PMC 1202 and side 1 as well, with all the track listings there and the Beatles and Made in Great Britain, with the matrix on side 1 being XEX 421-1N. And then we're going to flip that over. Once again, got the same label variation there with no sold in UK details there. So you've got the Gramophone Company Limited on the rim again, with the P 1963 and side 2 on the left, with on the right there the catalogue number and side 2, with Please Please Me, the tracks on side 2, the Beatles, and Made in Great Britain there. Finally, the matrix on this side is XEX 422-2N, and this is in absolutely immaculate condition, this one, beautiful. So moving on then to the stereo pressing I've got here of Please Please Me. This is known as the 5th pressing, and this would have been released approximately late 64 to autumn 1965. It's on the black and yellow parlophone, catalogue number PCS 3042. And this is known actually as the mid-size stereo version. This is from the mid-60s, and as you can see there, top right, you got the mid-size stereo indicator there, which is, this is quite a rare cover to see and find. There's not many of these about, but they're certainly out there. And once again, this is an absolutely beautiful condition. Got just a slight little bit of wear down the side there, not too much, but it's in fantastic condition, this one. Really looks good. Same details as before. Let's flip that over, and this particular cover is absolutely white on the back. It's a really, really beautiful one, this one. And on the right hand side there, you've got the important details about playing a stereo record on monophonic equipment. Got the catalogue number there of PCS 3042, and obviously there you've got the Please Please Me, the Beatles, with what the guys played on the album, all the track listings on the left hand side, and the notes by Tony Barrow, and all the same details as before. Recording first published 1963, with all the EMI and the Hayes Middlesex details. And then bottom right, of course, you've got the Garrett and Lofthouse details with the mono and stereo numbers there. Just take a look at that spine. This one's a really nice spine, this. So with our mid-60s Please Please Me stereo then, we got this Emitex rice paper type bag. It's in great shape, this one. So moving on to the vinyl then. A lot harder to find the stereo editions from the time, but this one's in absolutely lovely shape. You got the stereo indicator there above the parlophone yellow letters. And of course we've also got the sold in UK details on this particular pressing, which is above the centre hole. You got the Parlophone Company Limited around the perimeter text there on the left, with the recording first published 1963 and side 1. And on the right there we've got the catalogue number PCS 3042 and side 1 also, with Please Please Me and all the track details there with the Beatles and Made in Great Britain. The matrix on this side is YEX94-1. So we're going to flip that over there. Once again, you've got the stereo indicator there above parlophone, with the sold in UK details, and the Parlophone Company Limited on the perimeter text, with recording first published 1963 and side 2. And on the right there we've got the PCS 3042 and side 2, with Please Please Me at the bottom with all the tracks on side 2, with the Beatles and Made in Great Britain. And the matrix on side 2 is YEX95-1, and that's a really, really super copy. So we're on to the album with the Beatles then, and this is the 4th pressing, which was released approximately July to November 1969 on the black and yellow parlophone, and the catalogue number is a PCS 3045. So onto the cover then, and as you can see, you've got the parlophone logo there with the Beatles. Top right, you've got that stereo indicator, which is very, very small. This ain't one of the best covers, and certainly the record is actually makes up for it because it's absolutely beautiful, but this cover's generally about VG. I would have said VG plus. It's not fantastic, so I'm looking for another cover actually for this one, but one will turn up, I'm sure. But you've got the guys there, slightly lighter this cover. You can see more of their faces, but it's such an iconic cover, this one. Slightly off-white on the back there. You've got a price sticker there, 37 and 5 from Bentals, wherever that may be. And of course you've got with the Beatles there, you've got the stereo details on the top right with the catalogue number. and all the guys what they played on this album, with all the track listings on the left, and more notes by Tony Barrow, with the recording first published on the bottom left there, and of course produced by George Martin, and the photo by Robert Freeman, which was in a Bournemouth hotel. And on this particular version there, you really got to spell incorrectly then on this particular version. And then bottom right, after the Hayes Middlesex details and EMI, you got the Garrett and Lofthouse details there with the mono and stereo numbers. And let's just take a look at that spine. So we've got a white inner bag here, probably not the correct one, but it's what came with it. So onto the vinyl then, and this actual vinyl is in such good condition, which is why I couldn't refuse it, because it's in absolutely lovely condition. Obviously on this pressing there, we've got the top right, you've got the stereo details above the Parlophone logo there. There's no sold in UK details because it's from post July 69. But you've got the Gramophone Company Limited on the perimeter text, and then you've got the P 1963 with side 1, and on the right there you've got PCS 3045 and side 1 with the Beatles there, and all the tracks and the Beatles, made in Great Britain. And the matrix on side 1 is YEX 110-2. I'm just going to flip that over for side 2. Same again, same details. You've got the stereo indicator on the right there above the Parlophone logo. There's no sold in UK details. Got the Gramophone Company on the perimeter with the P 1963 and side 2. And then you've got on the right the PCS 3045 and side 2 with the Beatles and all the tracks there, and the Beatles, and made in Great Britain. So on the label there you've got the "You've really got a hold on me" and "Got a," so it's the correct spelling on this particular variation. So the matrix on this side is YEX 111-2. So now we're on to A Hard Day's Night, starting with a mono pressing. This is known as the third pressing, which was released approximately July to November 1969 on the black and yellow Parlophone, catalogue number PMC 1230. So starting with the sleeve then, as you can see there, we got that small mono indicator there top right. You got the Beatles A Hard Day's Night there with the Parlophone logo on the left, little bit of stain in there, nothing too major. It's a bit of a VG Plus sleeve, this one. It's got a few little creases, nothing major. It's pretty good. Just flip that over. A little bit of staining on this one, top right, which obviously went over to the front of the cover. So you got the Beatles there, songs from the film A Hard Day's Night, and you got all the details and notes by Tony Barrow, and produced by George Martin there, with side 1 being the songs from the film, and side 2 being some other tracks that they'd written at the time. Really great album. I really do love A Hard Day's Night. It's a brilliant album. It's the first Beatles album I owned. You got the pictures of the guys there with all the details there from Parlophone, long play 33 1/3, with the Hayes Middlesex details and the Emmy text details there, and of course bottom right the Garrett and Lofthouse cover with the mono and stereo numbers. And just check that spine out then. So once again, from this time period, we've got the sepia tone in a bag there, and that one's not too bad. So onto the vinyl then, and most of these editions I'm going to show today are actually from the late 60s. So this particular version then, the mono version, there's no sold in UK details there. You've got the Gramophone Company on the perimeter with the P 1964 and side 1. And on the right there we've got PMC 1230 and side 1 with the songs from the film A Hard Day's Night. Then all the tracks, you've got the Beatles, Northern Songs, and the Made in Great Britain details there. So the matrix on side 1 then is XEX 481-3. I'm going to flip that over. This vinyl's not too bad. It's probably about VG Plus. It's had a few plays. It's obviously been enjoyed. So there, once again on side 2, you've got the Parlophone logo there. There's no sold in UK. Got the Gramophone Company on the rim with the P1964 and side 2. And on the right there, you've got the PMC 1230 and side 2 with all the tracks listed. The Beatles, Northern Songs and Made in Great Britain. With finally the Matrix on side 2, XEX482-3N. So straight on to then a stereo pressing of A Hard Day's Night. This is known as the 4th pressing, released approximately July to November 1969 on the black and yellow Parlophone, catalogue number PCS 3058. So once again then, we got the sleeve there, which has got the small stereo indicator there top right. This one's in pretty good condition. It's about excellent, I would have said. This one really not too bad. It's got not too many creases on it as far as I can see. It's 1 or 2, nothing major. It's in good shape, nice laminate. So let's flip that over. Relatively clean on the back. A little bit of stain in there on the right. Slight little bit, a tiny little bit of damage there on the flip back. So same details as before, but you've got the stereo details there in the important box there. You've got the songs from the film A Hard Day's Night, the Beatles there, all the tracks, and the Tony Barrow notes, and produced by George Martin, of course, and the pictures of the guys from the film. So at the bottom there, we've got the trademark Parlophone Company with the long play 33 1/3. And the EMI records and Hayes, Middlesex, England there, with someone's autograph, as you can see, and the Emitex details, and of course made and printed by Garrett and Lofthouse there with the mono and stereo numbers. Just check that spine out as well. Once again then, another sepia tone inner. This one's an absolutely beautiful shape. Then onto the stereo vinyl then, and from memory I think this one's in pretty good shape actually. It's very nice, I think. So on the top right there, you've got the stereo indicator above the Parlophone logo, and you've got the Gramophone Company around the perimeter rim. Obviously you've got no sold in UK details on this pressing. You've got the P1964 on the left with side 1. Then on the right we've got the PCS 3058 with side 1. And then you've got songs from the film A Hard Day's Night with all the tracks there, the Beatles, Northern Songs and Made in Great Britain. With the Matrix on side 1 being YEX 126-1. Let's flip that over then. Spin that around. And once again there we've got the stereo top right there above the Parlophone logo. Got the Gramophone Company on the perimeter text with the P1964 and side 2 on the left, with the catalogue number and side 2 on the right, with all the tracks listed, the Beatles, Northern Songs and Made in Great Britain. And of course the Matrix on side 2 is YEX 127-1. So moving on to Beatles For Sale then, and I've got 2 stereo editions to show here. This first one was released in approximately 1968 on the black and yellow Parlophone, catalogue number PCS 3062. So onto the cover then, and very difficult to find anything like mint condition of this particular cover. Very flimsy and not very well made, sadly. On this edition though, you've got the stereo, a large stereo top right there, with the Parlophone and EMI details on the left with Beatles For Sale. And you've got those weary faces. The guys looking very weary. It's not too bad, this cover, it's quite nice. Let's look at the back first before we look at the gatefold, of course. And quite a nice cover. Probably about excellent, I would have said, maybe excellent plus. And then let's just flip that gatefold sleeve there. And on the left, of course, you've got the titles, all the track titles, side 1, with the notes from Derek Taylor. You've got photographs by Robert Freeman, and of course produced by George Martin there, with the stereo details top right, the stereo number, and the important details about playing stereo on mono equipment. You've got side 2 there, all the tracks. with the parlophone details there and Emitex. Photo of the guys at Washington, and of course you've got the guys on the right there in the foyer of Twickenham there, Twickenham Studios. And then let's just take a look at that spine. So we've got the sepia tone inner sleeve there from the time period, from 68. So onto the vinyl then, and this particular one is quite a rare variant actually, because it contains the misspelling of I'm a Loser, and it's got two S's in there, which I'll put on the screen as you can see there if you can't see the actual label itself. But you've got the stereo there on the top right above the Parlophone logo, with the sold in UK details above the centre hole there. You've got the Gramophone Company Limited around the perimeter text with the P1964 and side 1. And on the right there you've got the PCS 3062 and side 1 with Beatles For Sale and all the track listings there as well, with the Beatles at the bottom and Made in Great Britain. And the matrix on side 1 is YEX 142-1. And flip that over and spin that round then. And once again there you've got the stereo there above the Parlophone with the sold in UK details, with the Gramophone Company on the perimeter, with the P1964 on side 2, and on the right there you've got the PCS 3062 and side 2, with Beatles For Sale and all the tracks, the Beatles and Made in Great Britain there. And finally on side 2 the matrix is a YEX 143-1, and this one is in absolutely fantastic condition, really nice edition. So on to the second stereo pressing I've got here of Beatles For Sale. This one is known as the third pressing, and it's released approximately between July and November 1969. It's on the black and yellow Parlophone, catalogue number PCS 3062. And actually what's interesting to note is actually there was no mono edition released actually between July and November 69 of this album. So let's take a look at the cover first then. Once again, it's a really hard cover to get anything like good condition really. So you've got Parlophone and EMI there with Beatles For Sale. You've got that mid-sized stereo there, top right, with the guys there. And once again, let's take a look at the back. This one's not, it's better than the other cover I think, this one, much better. Much cleaner. And then of course you've got the gatefold sleeve once again, all the same details as previous. And then on the right hand side there got the guys at Twickenham. And let's just take a look at that spine as well. So we've got the EMI sepia tone in there. Once again it's in great condition. And then onto the vinyl. Really nice one this. Quite a nice weight to this one as well. So you've got no sold in UK details on this pressing, but you've got the stereo indicator there above the Parlophone. You've got the Gramophone Company on the perimeter with the P1964 there on side 1. And on the right there you've got the PCS 3062 and side 1 with the Beatles For Sale, the track listings, the Beatles and Made in Great Britain, with the matrix being then on side 1 YEX 142-1. Just going to flip that again, and there's no sold in UK details, with the stereo indicator above the Parlophone wording. You got the Gramophone Company Limited there around the perimeter, with the P1964 and the side 2 there on the left, with the catalogue number on the right there, PCS 3062 and side 2, with Beatles For Sale, the track listings, the Beatles and Made in Great Britain. And finally then, matrix on side 2 is YEX 143-1.